Good morning, this is Lisa with Swifty Travels, and I'm coming to you today from Grant Village inside of Yellowstone National Park. Now, if you're interested in staying in Grant Village and Yellowstone National Park, then this video is for you.
All right, let's start with the basics. Grant Village is one of several villages located throughout Yellowstone National Park, and it provides services such as lodging, dining, a general store, and a gas station. Now, this area is more spread out with a campground-like feel versus the compact style that you'll find at Canyon Village and Old Faithful Village. Grant Village does offer camping and lodging, but this review in this video is focused on the lodge. Here's a map of the village. You can see there's a gas station over here, registration is here, the lodges are spread out in this general area, and then you have the visitor center and a few different dining options.
Grant Village was one of the more affordable options within the national park system here in Yellowstone. Now, the most affordable option, of course, is to tent camp, but we were interested in lodging, and we were a little late to the game. We scheduled our trip about 3 to 4 months ahead of time. One good thing to note is that the rooms here are refundable within, I think, a 2-week period before the room starts. So I was able to go ahead and grab a room. They are pretty pricey still at over $300 a night. I did monitor the prices, and over time they do change depending on supply and demand. So when I first booked a room for a 2-queen in Canyon Village, it was about $330 a night. And when I checked back a month or two later, I did catch a few days when they were advertising $279. So I was able to cancel my original reservation and rebook at the cheaper price. Actually, I recommend rebooking first before you cancel your room. So it saved me a little bit of money.
When you first arrive, you have to check in at the registration office, which is one of the first buildings you'll come across, and they'll assign you to one of the buildings. Now, our room was in the Coyote Lodge. So here's a quick look.
The rooms here did not have the best reviews online, and I was pleasantly surprised. The rooms were very tiny. That's my only complaint. You don't really get queen beds, you get full-size beds. And the showers were super, super tiny, but there were a lot of nice touches with the soaps and the little stuffed animals. There's no air conditioning, there's no TVs.
Here's a few more details that I forgot to mention. While there is no air conditioning, the room comes with a fan and you can open your window. There's no cell service here and no Wi-Fi in the rooms. If you need Wi-Fi, you can find it at the registration office, but everyone is in there in the evening, so the bandwidth really struggles. So just plan to unplug when you're here. As you can see, the room comes with a table and chairs. There's a little area to hang some clothes. The beds are full size, not queen. The bathroom is small, but it has everything you need. The buildings do have an ice machine and a vending machine, and I guess I forgot to take a picture, but there was a little sitting area with a sink downstairs. These lodge buildings are 2 stories and they do not have an elevator, so you're going to need to be able to get up the stairs with your bags.
They do have several dining options here in Grant Village, and we went ahead and tried reservations We went ahead and got reservations to the sit-down restaurant within Grant Village. They do recommend that you get reservations. Now later, we went to the lake house to try some dessert, and the lake house was more my style, more affordable options. They just had a taco menu with some desserts, beers, drinks, coffee, in a very relaxed atmosphere, but with gorgeous lake views. Now, if you want the sit-down experience, the food in the Grant Village dining room runs about high 20s to low 30s for the entrees. We're headed to dinner at the Grant Village dining room. Now, your dining options when you're here in the general store, they have a grill. Down at the lakefront, they have the lake house, I believe it's called. They have tacos, no reservations required. But if you want to eat in the nice sit-down restaurant for dinner, you do need to make reservations ahead of time. Now, when I was booking our stay here in the park, I really did not know what was going to be available. So I went ahead and booked reservations for dinner. So we're headed there now. And you can see tonight there's all these different paths, and they're all leading to the dining room for dinner. That's the Antelope Lodge. Now, the Antelope Lodge apparently has some rooms that face the lake. that would be the optimum building to stay in. I don't know if you can pick that when you book your reservation, but there's several different buildings, Here at Grant Village, we are staying in the Coyote Lodge, I believe it was called. Grant Village Restaurant. Now that lake house is where the taco bar is. That's, I guess you could walk down to it maybe from that path. There is no air conditioning in here, so just be prepared. Thank you. Thanks. I'll sit here. All right, so we made it through dinner. The dinner was really nice. It was a nice sit-down place. The dinner options, the entrees were pretty pricey. They mostly have fish with a few. They have like one burger option, one chicken option. We just went for the soup and salad. The price was a little more reasonable. It's on the lake. You can step outside to the back porch if you'd like to take in the views. And they had some really good looking huckleberry ice cream that I saw come out for dessert. So it's a little reminiscent of a campground with these little walking paths in the forest between the buildings here. We've already seen elk and deer here in Grant Village. Now I did find out that they do not rent bear spray here in Grant Village. Now I do feel like staying here in this area of the park, there's a lot more wildlife in this area. We've already seen deer, we've already seen elk. So if you're gonna stay in this area, I might recommend having some bear spray, especially if you plan on walking around in the evenings.
Now here's what you can find down by the lake house. They have a boat ramp and marina, and it looks like somebody was setting up for an evening kayak tour. This is the Lake House Restaurant. This was by far my favorite spot. And here's the path that you can take back up to the rooms. The mosquitoes were thick here.
Hey, I keep thinking my video is going to be over, and I keep having one more thing to tell you. So here in Grant Village, we went to the main dining room, and as I told you, the meals were kind of pricey, and so we didn't really have a full meal. The other problem with it is that when you're sitting at your table, you really couldn't see the lake because there is a railing on the deck and it blocks the view. So after we went for a drive and we saw some wildlife, we went back down to the lake house, I believe, that has tacos. That place was pretty amazing. They did have beer, they had desserts, they had a big old bowl of, there are mosquitoes everywhere. They had a big old bowl of churros for a little over $5. I got one taco to supplement the soup and salad that I had earlier. The tacos are pretty tiny, but you had an amazing view of the lake. The lake was right there, right out your window, right by your table. You could also get beer and sodas, and I'm being attacked by mosquitoes. So I'm heading back in the registration building. That is the only place here in Grant Village with Wi-Fi, and it is full of people.
I didn't really talk much about it when I was there, but here's a look at some of the other facilities here at Grant Village. This is the general store. They actually had a really great collection of gift items if you're looking to go do a little shopping. They had a little grocery store in which you could pick up groceries, and I didn't realize they had a grill in the back. If I knew there were so many options for eating that did not require reservations, I would not have eaten in the dining room. But here's a look at the general store. And then they also have on site the visitor center for Grant Village. And I went and visited right before they closed. It was a really nice visitor center. They had a lot of great information, and they had a beautiful viewing deck of the lake behind there. Now they also offer different programs in the evenings given by the park rangers. So if you're interested in some of that, you should stop by when you first arrive and see what's going to be offered during your stay. In the morning, if you want breakfast, you do need to go to the Grant Village dining room again for breakfast. They do open at 6:30 and reservations are not required for breakfast. Now they do have the general store that does have some food items, but they don't open till 9. So if you want to get an early start and get out in the park during your day, you're going to want to go to the dining room or bring some food ahead of time and store it in your refrigerator. All right, we just finished the dining room experience here in Grant Village, and they have a buffet that's about $18.95, something like that, and it includes coffee, and it has the standard fruit, eggs, meat, potatoes, and I usually can't get my money's worth with a buffet, and so I just got the standard breakfast. I just got the standard breakfast with the 2 eggs and the hash browns, and it was just needed something that was filling. Now my daughter, however, tried the huckleberry pancakes, the 7-grain huckleberry pancakes. I believe they're homemade. They are full of fiber, and they were covered in huckleberries and huckleberry butter. So if you're a pancake person, that is something you are really going to want to try. It is huge, way more than all 3 of us could sample on that plate. But what they did say is that there's only a couple cooks in the kitchen, so it was a bit of a wait for our food. So if you're in a hurry, you probably want to opt out for the buffet because it's quicker. Something else that was interesting is all the waiters in there are for different parts of the country. A lot of them are college students, and they came up here to work for the summer for Xanterra, which is the company that manages the lodges and the restaurants in the national parks. And they get free lodging, and they can stay here for the summer and work in the restaurants. I think that would be an absolutely fantastic opportunity for someone young who wants to travel. Now, as we leave Grant Village, we are headed to Grand Teton, so I'll be coming to you from the Grand Tetons next week. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions that I didn't cover, please feel free to leave a comment below.